All right, welcome everyone. We're excited to have you join us for today's webinar, 3 Ways AI Delivers Real Cost Savings. But before we begin, a few housekeeping items. We are recording this session, and a link will be shared with all registrants afterwards. We encourage you to submit questions anytime using the Q&A function, and there will be dedicated time at the end of the session to address those questions. And then make sure your microphones are muted to avoid unwanted background noise. And with that, let's dive in. So a brief overview of Oz. We specialize in helping businesses adopt AI and digital transformation solutions to improve efficiency, reduce costs, and future-proof operations. Microsoft, our strategic partner, provides cutting-edge AI tools, and Epic Insurance Brokers has been at the forefront of implementing AI-driven solutions in their industry. The purpose of this webinar is to move beyond AI hype and demonstrate real-world cost-saving AI applications. You'll see some demos, hear a success story from Epic, and learn practical ways AI can optimize operations in any business. To kick things off, I'm thrilled to introduce Beverly Kotick from Microsoft. Beverly is a technology expert specializing in AI-powered business transformation, and today she'll walk us through 3 AI solutions that are already making a significant impact on businesses worldwide. So over to you, Beverly.
Thank you, Jason, and good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for joining us. As Jason said, my name is Beverly. I'm a program manager here at Microsoft, and I've worked with several customers on their AI transformation journey. I'm really thrilled to share with you how AI, and specifically using Azure AI tools, can deliver significant cost savings for your business. Today, we're going to look at 3 use cases using Azure Document Intelligence, Azure AI Transcription and Summarization, and Azure AI Custom Content Safety. So let's dive right in. Now, to set some context, if you're a company and you're selling anything really, goods or services, you probably have suppliers, and suppliers usually need to be paid. But accounts payable remains a predominantly manual task. Teams are often bogged down with tedious and time-consuming nature of processing invoices, verifying data, and ensuring timely payments. Now, this manual approach is not only inefficient, but it's also prone to human errors. Today, I want to show you how AI can transform this crucial function. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen right here. And give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen or something. Okay. So what I'm sharing here is Azure AI Document Intelligence Studio. And what this tool really does is that it helps you to visually explore, understand, and process your documents. And we support various types of documents. Out of the box, we have pre-built models for invoices, receipts, identity documents, and a long list of other documents that we support here. But in the event that none of these work for your scenario, you're also able to build your own custom models. For this demo, we're going to look at a pre-built model, and particularly using invoices. So the cool thing about this tool is that regardless of the format of your document, and here, as you can see, I have different types of invoices. They all have different formats. But once I run the application or run my analysis, I'll be able to extract key information from the document that's necessary for post-processing. So we'll give this a few minutes. I'll zoom in a bit. And as you can see here, it's able to accurately identify the address of either the recipient or the payer, the invoice number, the custom ID, the invoice date. And the cool thing is that it also gives you the degree of accuracy or the level of accuracy at which the model arrived at the answer. We also recognize that you're not probably going to be doing your processing or payments on Azure Document Intelligence Studio. And that's why in the results tab here, we provide you with all this information in JSON format. And so you can take this format and use it for post-processing. And if you need to use this for your code, for your application in code, you can use the sample code that we provide in the tool as well and integrate it to your applications. We support this in Python, JavaScript, and C#. And so the goal here is really to enable this accounts payable, which typically is a very manual process, to become automated by using AI. Now, I will go on to the next demo, which is on AI transcription and summarization. And the next demo here, we're going to look at a healthcare example, but I want to explicitly call out that the underlying technology that we're using is really applicable to any industry. So often in healthcare, physicians have to spend a substantial amount of time documenting patient interactions. But now, by using AI transcription, doctors can focus more on patient care rather than paperwork. And how does that work? So I'm going to show you how that looks like. What I have here, what I'm sharing here is the Azure AI Foundry language playground. And in it, there's also a bunch of pre-built models. Over here, I do have a sample transcription of a sample AI transcribed conversation between a patient and the doctor. And so you can see the patient is telling the doctor that they've been experiencing persistent discomfort in their lower back, and a bunch of other details, what they've tried, over-the-counter painkillers. Could you help me understand what might be causing this and the treatment options? So this was a conversation between a patient and a doctor that was transcribed using AI. Now, when I combine that with the extract healthcare information model, I'm able to run an analysis and be able to accurately pick up the summary of what that conversation is. And the cool thing about this is that it picks up medical information. So from here, you can see that it gets the cause of condition, which is persistent discomfort. The model picks up the site of the condition, which is the patient's lower back, the time of the condition, the past few, I guess, weeks. And as you can see my point here, it gets all this important information and succinctly puts it, or rather calls it out with a level of degree of accuracy that can be used either in text format or in JSON format if you need to do any post-processing work. So ideally, this translates to lower admin costs and more efficient use of patient care, because I don't think there's any physician that goes into the field wanting to do admin work. And so now we're able to use AI tools to take away the administrative work and allow patients and physicians, or rather allow physicians to give care to their patients. So that is the second demo. And the final demo that we look at is around Azure Custom Safety. To just give context around this, I'll start by saying that large language models have really revolutionized the way humans interact with AI. But one of the significant challenges that's caused by large language models is the fact that they're able to give reasonably plausible answers, but sometimes those answers may not be true. And this is what we've all come to know today as hallucination. And hallucination is a common problem, particularly with generative AI. Now, with Azure Content Safety, you can now detect groundedness in the responses from your large language models. So right here, I'm in my Azure AI Foundry Custom Safety tool. And as you can see here, I'm going to select this document. This is my document source. So think of it as my grounding source. And everything that is here is ideally the truth. So in this case, we see I'm 21 years old. There's someone who's 21 years old. They need to make a decision about their life, and they're trying to figure out where to take their career. Now, based on this, I've written a prompt to my large language model asking it, how much does the person in question get paid per hour at the bank that they're working in? And the model gives me a response at $12 an hour. Now, you could either have people go in and verify this information, or you could use AI to do this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how to use AI to verify whether the answer is grounded or not. I'll go ahead and provide my resource access. So just give me 1 second as I get my endpoint details. And so I'll include that here. So this is an Azure AI endpoint. And I will also add the deployment name. So this is necessary to get this working. And then I'll run the test just to verify that the response from the the response to the model is actually grounded on actual fact. And so if we give this a minute, there we go. So we see that the model has detected ungroundedness. And why do I say this? So in this text, which is a grounded text, it clearly mentions that, where is it? the person in question gets paid $10 an hour. But the large language model in this scenario came to $12 an hour. I don't know why, but this is what hallucination looks like. And so now we're able to tell whether the response from the model is actually grounded or not. In this case, it was in fact not grounded. And to take this a step further, you can also have the model or have the AI that you're using be able to correct the response. And so now AI is now able to check your grounding source, verify the ground truth, and then update the response. So now you don't even need humans to do this. If the model comes up with the wrong answer, then now we're able to update it to the right answer. And so in this scenario, your customers are always going to get the right answer without having to do a lot of manual reviews. So this is just some of the ways that we're seeing AI help to improve or to ensure brand safety and just accuracy of your data so that you can be able to build trust. Now, in conclusion, this ends my demos. I'm going to say that AI technologies from Azure offer practical solutions that really deliver cost savings. And so with document intelligence, you've seen how we can automate the accounts payable process with the language capabilities around AI transcription and summarization. We've also seen how we can improve patient care and reduce administrative work that physicians have to deal with. And with content safety, we're seeing how Azure AI tools are also helping to protect your brand and reduce the cost that would otherwise be needed to do human reviews. So that's all I have for now, and I'm going to hand it over to Jason and Vikash.
All right. Thank you, Beverly. That was a great overview. So let's move this conversation over to Vikash Kowal. Vikash, first, could you introduce Epic Insurance Brokers and yourself to our attendees?
Oh, sure, Jason and Beverly, agreed. That was a great overview of the capabilities as well. So hi, I'm Vikash Kaul. I am the Chief Technology Officer here at Epic. So Epic Brokers, we started in 2007 in San Francisco. We are a retail risk management, employee benefits, and a private client insurance brokerage and consulting company. That's a lot of words, but what do we actually do? We actually act as intermediaries between our clients and the insurance companies. Think of us as personal advisors in the world of insurance. We help our clients navigate the complex landscape of insurance options and find the best policies that would protect their assets. Outside of that, because we are risk managers as well, our work doesn't just stop on the distribution side of the house. We also take a very proactive approach to our client safety and security. We work very closely with them to identify potential risks. And in several cases, we are also involved in implementing safety protocols at workplaces, obviously securing additional coverages, and even in several cases, creating contingency plans for them. So in essence, if I have to say it in one word, Jason, I would say we provide peace of mind to our clients by ensuring that they are protected, they are prepared and ready to handle anything that life throws at them.
All right, Vikash, that was great. Thank you. So let's talk about the solution that we worked on together. And let's start with the document intelligence side. Can you share how Epic implemented this and the impact it had?
Oh, absolutely. And this is probably a well-known fact, or might not be a very well-known fact. Insurance is an extremely document-intensive industry. We transfer documents between our clients and our carrier partners, between us and our clients on a daily basis, because majority of these documents are defining the risks that our clients have, and they are also defining the kind of coverages that they capture. So we use document intelligence. I mean, we think document intelligence provides us a significant edge because of not only from an operational perspective, but also in terms of the insights that we can get from all the information that is logged in these documents that has a lot of analytical value. So the project that we did with Jason was using document intelligence to essentially extract information from claims notes. So claims notes are these are 6, 7, 10,000 page documents that have excruciating detail around if there was a loss that happened for our client, the details of where it happened, what exactly happened as part of the loss or the claim that was made, doctor's notes, legal notes, and everything else. Normally, a person from our side who would review these documents, it would take them days, if not weeks, to truly review information, because they're looking for trends, they're looking for patterns, they're looking for some of the largest losses and trying to understand summaries of them as well. So working with Jason and team, we use document intelligence. That was one of the components, but several other services within the Azure cloud itself to come up with a solution where our our internal risk advisors could essentially do a Q&A with these large documents to find information about specific claims, to find trends as well. Used document intelligence to essentially extract entities of interest. So think of this, these are claims. So you're looking at, hey, was there a tree involved in a claim? Did somebody have a slip or fall? These are all very important elements, but looking at it across 7,000 pages becomes extremely difficult. So we use document intelligence to classify and glean all that information out of the solutions as well. Thanks for the partnership, and Jason will probably spend a little bit time on the architecture, but just wanted to say is thanks for the partnership of Jason and team. We are confident in the solution that we're so confident that we started internally using it, but we are going to put it in front of our client as well and their risk managers, so they have this information accessible to them at their fingertips.
Wow, that's an impressive business outcome. So I imagine accuracy has improved as well in this process.
Oh, absolutely, right? I mean, as you can imagine, some of these documents, they read like stories, right? And try for someone human to read through it and glean all that information becomes quite intensive and leads to inaccuracies. So it definitely has boosted the accuracy of this entire analysis as well significantly. However, we do understand that obviously, as I think Beverly mentioned as well, there are confidence codes, etc., that come out of document intelligence and several of these capabilities as well. So we always take that into account. So human in loop is still key, but you are reducing time of these analysis to a couple of hours compared to weeks worth of work.
Okay. So let's talk about AI transcription and summarization that Beverly demoed earlier. So how Epic handles a lot of calls and meetings. So how has this AI feature helped?
So, I mean, as we all know, right, we are in a sales industry. So handle a lot of calls, handle a lot of meetings. So the AI transcription summarization has been a game changer for us, especially with respect to giving the ability for our folks to capture accurate information in these conversations and concise overviews of all of these meetings and conversations as well, without someone having to dig through hours worth of recording to find information. And they are pretty accurate as well. I want to say definitely much more accurate than someone sitting in a meeting and trying to take notes while you are in meetings. So I want to say overall, if I just have to put a number around it, I want to say it probably has taken off 50% of the effort that people used to spend on all of these activities before compared to where we are today.
Wow. Yeah, that's a huge time saver. So insurance is an interesting industry because it's really an umbrella industry. So with the different industries that you deal with, tell me about the specific impacts that you're seeing.
So yeah, I mean, as you said, right, we as insurance brokers touch pretty much every industry that is out there, whether it's healthcare, whether it's legal, whether it's finance companies as well, where accurate documentation, accurate information is critical. So whether you're looking at document intelligence or the AI-driven transcription, that of course, I mean, it significantly reduces administrative burden. We have improved compliance as well, because sometimes you have a machine which is providing suggestions or recommendations which are better than some folks who might even be on the phone, and of course has an impact on the overall service quality itself. So yeah, so I mean the impact is pretty wide and deep is where I would leave that.
Okay. So let's talk a little about the responsible AI side of AI adoption. So specifically, how is Epic using AI and what's the role of responsible AI?
Yeah, I mean, I would focus obviously on the generative AI, right? Because that's what gets the most attention these days, right? So when the whole paradigm came out, we recognized the transformative power of the technology. However, we did understand the associated risks, right? So something that Beverly mentioned around hallucinations, that is a big concern. So we are approaching it with our eyes wide open, right? So first of all, we adopted a formal generative AI policy within our organization, ensured that our colleagues are well educated on the subject because you're interfacing with clients, where you're interfacing with carrier partners as well. We partnered with Microsoft to explore all of these different technologies. Some of them Beverly talked about, but we extensively use Microsoft Copilot. We use Microsoft Azure OpenAI services as our core interface to large language models as well, knowing well that we are in a protected space, where our data that is going into these services is not being used for retraining purposes. It's not leaving our boundaries as well, because that was a big concern from our business and our compliance side of the house as well. Because at the end of the day, I mean, we have the fiduciary responsibility for our clients, and we deal with a lot of sensitive data. Now, this approach has worked really well for us, and it helps us, I want to say, strike a balance between efficiency and responsibility, which is something that we always strive for.
Nice. And I assume this compliance for you.
Oh yeah, I mean it does, right? At the end of the day, there is you use these services to essentially ensure that people are using all of these different elements in a compliant manner. We are also looking at various different ways where it would also help us in our DLP efforts, which obviously has a big impact from a compliance perspective, especially with because the nature of data that we deal with, which has a lot of PII, PHI, and whatnot.
All right. I'm going to share my screen quickly. I'm going to show a high-level diagram of the solution that was implemented at Epic, using all the services that both Beverly and Vikash have been talking about. And maybe we'll get to some discussions around the architecture of the services maybe during the Q&A. But I do want to get back to, there's a lot of great numbers that you have that have come up through this project. So how much time and cost has Epic saved with these AI solutions?
It's always hard to put exact dollar figures, right, Jason, on several of these initiatives. But I can easily say that if I look at the combined impact of these capabilities, it goes well into high 6, low 7 figures. We measure our cost savings in two different ways, right? So one, obviously the biggest one is the capacity freed for our colleagues so that they can spend their time working with our clients, spending more time with our clients, spending more time with our partners to craft new and novel solutions for them. To a degree, they spend their time selling, right? We are in that business. And the second one is hard dollar savings, where traditionally we have used business process outsourcing partners to do a lot of these activities manually for us, which are now AI driven, which are now RPA driven. We're combining document intelligence and RPA together to truly have an impact on an end-to-end process rather than just a part of that entire process. And that has itself saved us a significant amount of money. So outside of being a technologist, I'm also a business person. So I would leave at that it is easily going to go into several millions of dollars in overall saving for the organization.
Right, that's great. So, I mean, in this instance, AI is clearly delivering real measurable value. There are a whole bunch more questions and stats I'd love to bring up, but I do want to make sure we have time for Q&A with the audience. So let's switch over to the Q&A side.
As you guys were speaking, there was a question from the audience, an audience member who asked about how long it takes to implement an AI document intelligence project.
It varies. What I would say, right, it all depends upon the complexity that we are dealing with. The project that we did with Jason and team took us about 8 weeks to get it from the ground up. And again, document intelligence was one part of it because we're trying to solve a business problem. So there are like multiple different components that have to come together for the execution side of the house. There is another solution which took us a couple of months to build, which was very similar to what Beverly mentioned, is where we were automating the entire process of reading invoices, reading statements that are coming from our carrier partners as well. Required a lot of training, etc., because we were dealing with thousands and thousands of different formats. But it depends on the complexity of the business process or the business problem that you're trying to solve for is where I would leave it.
And yeah, and I would just add, right, the document intelligence was one part of the solution, and you have all these great resources available to you. I think more the work that comes into play is understanding the data types and the data that you're getting, and then the type of data that you want to get out of the system. That's where a lot of the real work comes in, along with the security and compliance, which is absolutely critical and has to be, addressed in the very beginning of the project.
Awesome. I had somebody else message us inquiring about some of the different industries, Beverly, maybe that could be seen using this AI transcription and summarization services you were outlining. What industries have you seen that benefit so far?
So I would say really any industry. And the reason I say that is think of, for example, contact center. That's just one of the examples that comes to mind. It's not industry specific. So legal, healthcare, manufacturing, all these have some sort of contact, center because, you have customers and they probably have a question about your services. And so whenever a customer is having to interact with your brand or, with your contact service center, they'll have a bunch of questions, and maybe the agent at that point is not able to answer a question and they have to redirect the call to perhaps someone who's more specialized. The specialist has to get a summary of what the discussion was around. And so it's really beneficial to have a quick summary and quick transcription and a summarization of that call so they can quickly get up to speed and be able to help the customer. So really it can be used in any industry is what I'll say.
This question is for all panelists, it looks like. How do you ensure AI for brand protection that doesn't block legitimate content? It's very important for people to get the correct information. And so this person is just asking how to ensure AI is, not blocking legitimate content.
I can go fast because Azure and AI, Microsoft does have a feature that helps with that. And the use case that I have in mind, for example, would be like in the gaming industry. So usually in gaming, sometimes it's likely that, as people are playing and in the moment, they can say, something that may be considered violent or harmful, but it's not in bad intent. And so you don't want to block these calls. Of course, you want to block that such kind of content coming from the model, but from individuals, in most cases, it's usually normal in that industry. And so within Microsoft today, we do offer a service that allows you to to really edit the filters to meet your needs. So say, for example, you're okay with, a certain level of perhaps harmful content. You can, adjust the filters to be able to allow some kind of content to go in. And maybe you don't want that kind of content coming from the model. And so on the other hand, on the model side, you can adjust such that any harmful content from the model does not get to the user. And so there really are ways to really adjust the filters based on what your application looks like. So it's not really one size fits all. And Azure Content filters allow you to adjust the filters of these models depending on what makes sense for your use case.
Yeah, and I just want to echo that. The tools that Microsoft has for the context-aware filtering and the adaptive learning have been absolutely critical, because every solution's a little different. And there's some cases where, let's say in a legal industry, there's certain content that you need as part of the transcription that in other situations you would not want. So these tools are very important to be able to adjust them as necessary. And with that, I see we are at time. So I do want to thank everyone for joining today's session. AI clearly isn't just a futuristic concept. It's delivering real cost savings and efficiency gains right now. If you'd like to explore how AI can work for business, reach out to us for a free consultation. And thank you again, and have a great day. And I believe, Emily, you have a bit to add about the promotion.
Yeah, so I wanted to thank the panelists, Vikash, Jason, Beverly. You guys have been very informative. To our attendees, thank you for joining us. Thank you for asking your questions. I'm sure you're not the only one thinking them, so you being brave enough to ask them has been very helpful. So we appreciate your time and engagement. I did want to touch very briefly on the giveaway that we had for this webinar. If you registered and attended and are seeing me speak right now, you are eligible for our 20-ounce Oz stackable Yeti Rambler. And so you have provided your shipping information, and we will be sending those out in the next couple days. Keep an eye out for that. In the meantime, if you guys have any questions, want to hear more from these panelists, I'd be happy to connect you with them. Just send over your questions, send over the conversation you'd like to continue to marketing@followoz.com. And that's all for me. Thank you, everybody, again, and we look forward to staying in touch. Have a great day, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.